Good morning, good morning, good morning, and happy Wednesday. This is Gigi. Walking with Gigi. I tell you, I'm doing this again in the car. I'm getting ready. After I share with you, I'm gonna go and do my fast sprint again because my car is saying that it's 34 degrees and that's close to freezing. I mean, it's freezing and it's hard to talk and walk in the cold. But after I finish, then I'm gonna get my fast sprint on and get it done. And I suggest you do the same. But this is the day that the Lord has made, and we're rejoicing and we're glad in it. I hope y'all doing good this morning. I hope you're staying warm. I know I have some friends that watch up north. Let me know if y'all got any snow yet. I know one of my friends said don't mention snow. I know some of our friends in Maryland got snow, so stay warm, stay warm. But good morning, good morning. I'm just so excited. I'm still excited about this holiday season. And last night, if you missed it last night, you need to watch Church School Live as I shared that lesson about Jesus's family, the family's faith, 42 generations, and how there were all these characters in his line, but everything worked together for good for those that love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. And even the daily bread lesson reminded us of that very thing because it is highlighting Joseph, who was the son of Jacob. And if you all know the story, Joseph, his brothers were jealous because one of the things he said that he was a dreamer and that he was going to be a leader and everything, and his brothers got jealous, one time because his father gave him a coat of many colors, and they decided they was going to kill him. But instead of killing him, they threw him in a pit, and then somebody rescued him from the pit, and he went through all these things. He was in jail. He was lied on by Pharaoh's wife and all of that, and he ended up being second in line to Pharaoh. But after a while, there was a famine that came in the land, and he had become big, but his brothers came to Egypt because there was a famine in the land, and he had gotten to a point that his brothers didn't even recognize him. And then after a while, after he made himself known, his brothers were so regretful, and they thought that Joseph was going to have revenge on them. And it brings us to the verse that's highlighted in the lesson today, which is Genesis 50:20. And he said, "But as for you, ye thought evil against me, but God," oh my goodness, "meant it unto good, to bring to pass as it is this day, to save much people alive." The devil thought he had gotten Joseph because, Joseph was still in that line. Jacob, we remember from the lesson last night that Jacob was in that line that led up to Jesus. And there could have been so many things along the way, and people could have been cut off and dead. But this is my gem nugget today. But God. There's a member of our church, I hear her say it all the time, and I understand it more and more, especially from this verse right here. Joseph said, you meant it for evil. But God, somebody needs to say, but God meant it for good, to bring to pass, to even save some people alive. Oh my goodness. They crucified Jesus Christ, but God raised him from the dead so that he could save our lives. Oh my gosh, that's good news for this morning. I was reading another story in here in the Daily Bread, and it was about a girl named Anne, and you'll know who Anne is by the time I finish here. It says, Anne grew up in poverty and pain. Two of her siblings died in infancy. At 5, an eye disease left her partially blind and unable to read or write. When Anne was 8, her mother died from tuberculosis. Shortly after, her abusive father abandoned his 3 surviving children. The youngest was sent to live with relatives, but Anne and her brother Jimmy went to Tewksbury Almshouse, a dilapidated, overcrowded poorhouse. A few months later, Jimmy died, so we have Anne left. At age 14, Anne's circumstances brightened. She was sent to a school for the blind, where she underwent surgery to improve her vision and learn to read and write. Though she struggled to fit in, she excelled and graduated valedictorian. Today, we know her best as Anne Sullivan, Helen Keller's teacher and companion. Helen Keller was the one, she couldn't see, she couldn't speak, she couldn't hear. But through Anne Sullivan, one who had already been through what she went through, she was able to help Helen Keller to become, we know who Helen Keller was. And it said, through effort, patience, and love, Anne taught blind and deaf Helen to speak, to read Braille, and to graduate from college. Who knows why God has put you in the line that he has? Maybe to save someone else, to help someone else, even though you have been through something yourself. Oh my goodness, but God. That's what it says, Romans 8:28. For we know that all things work together for good, although everything may not be good, but all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are called according to his purpose. Somebody ought to say, but God, but God. Oh my goodness, keep that in mind. But God, he has a purpose for your life. Sometimes you don't know why you have been through the things that you have been through in your life. But God. Oh my goodness, I thank God for being a but God, because if it wasn't for him, I don't know where I would be right now. But God, oh my goodness. Well, let me remind you, subscribe to the Gem Nugget channel so you will get these inspirational nuggets every day, and to share in our church school live, in our life study, and our messages at Grace and Twine Ministry. Oh, we just love it, Pastor and I, going into all the world to teach all nations, to inspire, to encourage. But when it all boils down, all I can say is, but God. You have a blessed day. Stay warm. Let me go and get these steps right now. Bye-bye.